Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week number 28 of the racing season, and we are not going to Lexington, Kentucky, and we are not going to Del Mar, California, and we're not going to Saratoga Springs, New York yet. No, folks, week number 28 of the racing season finds us on the road to Shelbyville, Indiana, where the Indiana Grand Racing and Casino has a stakes-filled card for the Saturday as part of the Indiana Derby Day. The pick four starts in race number 6. It ends in race number 9. All stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. He's our East Coast handicapper from Staten Island, New York. Well, you know, the Americans came out on top last week versus the Euros in his neighborhood, which is Belmont Park. Ray, have you ever visited Indiana Grand before, though?
No, I haven't. I know it's in Indiana. Exit, I don't know, 88. But no, it should be a nice track to go to. I mean, it's
Our
kind of
West,
new, so.
I've got one more guest for us. It's our West Coast handicapper, and he's joining us from his house in Temecula, California. He is back from last week's sponsored promotional event by Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Joe English, how are you doing tonight? And have you ever been to Indiana Grand other than last week when you were on the Fireball?
I I don't know where I was last week, to be honest with you. I passed out on my couch, but besides that, never. I've been to Indiana when my wife and I went for the Derby. The first time we went in 2002, we actually stayed in Indiana. But no, I've never been to. I don't. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I've never. I don't unless I've driven through Shelbyville. I've never been there.
Yeah, I'll plead the same. I've never been to Indiana.
I want to how track this is, how old it is.
Stayed. Like I said, stayed there when we went to the Derby because New Albany, Indiana, is right across the border from Louisville. It was about a 45-minute drive. So I've been there to the state, but never to the track. It's not on my bucket list either, to be honest.
Nice to have you back, sir. All right, last week was that was Belmont Park in New York. We did not hit our pick four, so we are 0 for 5 so far to start off the second half of the year. It was a tough break. We went down with most of the country and Shaman Ghost. Time for a brief weather update from Shelbyville, Indiana. The forecast for Saturday calls for there's a few clouds from time to time, and that's literally off of their weather forecast there. That's how they report it. It's a high of 81 degrees. The winds are light and variable. There is a 10% chance of rain. A total of 10 races, 6 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four beginning in race number 6. It concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's go.
I'm coming off the layoff. Let's fire afresh. Come on.
There we go. All right, pay attention. Approximate post time is 8:25 p.m. Eastern time. I could not find a guarantee in the pick four. Starts off with race number 6. They are going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. It is the Marie Hulman George Stakes. The purse is $100,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and older. 9 starters, and your morning line favorite at 2-1 is in post number 5. Big World, trained by Tom Amos and ridden by Ricardo Santana Jr. Okay, my knowledge of the state of Indiana is about what Ray actually gave us there in the beginning there, but it can be summed up by the game of basketball and the Indianapolis 500. That's about all I know about. And Marie Hulman George was the chairperson of the Indiana Motor Speedway from 1988 to 2016. That's who this race is named after. Joe, second half of the baseball season kicks off tonight. I don't know if you could tell. That's the T-shirt I'm wearing. You are hitting leadoff for the Three Broke Guys. Who do you like in the Marie Hulman George Stakes?
Maybe I should lay down a sack. Maybe I should try to lay down a bunt, get something started. But I'm not actually going to do that. I'm playing against the favorite here. I guess my top choice. Geez, if I had to make a top choice, I'd go with the 3. It's a little bit more of a class horse, Mo d'Amour, and it's really more I'm trying to learn a couple of things, and I'm going back to what happened to us a couple of weeks ago with 3 rules at Gulfstream Park. This horse actually was doing okay, late last year, at least finishing decently in the money in some Grade 1 stakes, Coaching Club American Oaks, Mother Goose. Ran 3rd by a length in the Monmouth Oaks behind Unbridled Mo. And then something happened in the Comley that necessitated a layoff. After that, the horse came back at Keeneland, did not necessarily run as well in a non-winners of 3 optional claimer. But I'm wondering if, the last race in 2016 caused the layoff. The race at Keeneland was okay, this is your comeback race. And now today is the go day. And I see Rich has his check mark on Mo Demore as well. And I like that Julian Leparoux gets aboard. That's a good sign. It's not as if she's getting some, I don't want to say second-rate jockey, but I guess second-rate is probably as good a word as I'm going to find. So he's going to get on. And the other thing I was looking at Mo Demore's lifetime PPs, and I also looked at the fact that she used to be trained by Todd Pletcher, at least until her last start. And she's got a new trainer, somebody who I don't know very much about. But the ownership group is still WinStar Farm. And WinStar Farm isn't in this game just to win races on that day. They're in it for breeding purposes as well. This horse, Mo Demore, has won a stakes race. She won the Busher back in February of 2016, but she's never been a winner of a graded stake race. And I'm kind of wondering, I know this isn't a graded stake race. Maybe this is a stepping stone to a graded stakes race. Not exactly sure what their plan is, but I'm thinking they want some more black type for this horse. And maybe they figure this is an easier spot than she was going to get elsewhere. Obviously, she's not going to run in the Clement Hirsch against Stellar Wind and Vale Dory. She obviously wasn't going to run in the Delaware Handicap against Songbird this weekend. Obviously looking for an easier spot, but getting Leparoux up and the fact that maybe this is the day they want to show how good she is. I'll take 10-1. She's been working decently at Keeneland. So I'm going to take a shot with her against the favorites. And even in that last race, there was a comment that, and you can see it on the right-hand side, it says checked hard at the 8th pole. So maybe the horse was actually in better position than we thought, and she just backed up because she checked so hard. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch this race. So I'm going to go with Mo Demore, try and beat Big World in this spot. And the other horse I went with in my pick for taking my personal ticket was the 9 Brooklyn's Way. Again, the last race, I just don't think it was bad. I think it was too bad to be true. It was her first race in nearly a year. And the fact that the horse is coming back 8 days later, shipping to a different track Bernie Flint's been around too long. He would not put this horse back in a position where the horse would be hurt, or if the horse is lame, the horse wouldn't be running if that were the case. I think this horse is going to be better for that performance. She won this race last year. She was 4-5 that day. She's 7-2 on the morning line today. You may get a little bit less than that, but I don't think much less. I think Big World's going to be a pretty. I think the morning line's pretty accurate here. She might go down to about 3-1. I'm not sure what outside posts necessarily do at Indiana Grand. It's actually, this is kind of a good thing, I think, for me, because I'm kind of going back to basics. Looking at the horses as opposed to letting little ancillary things like post position factor into my handicapping. Based on the track diagram, it doesn't look like this horse is going to have too much of a problem getting around the oval with the wide trip. 5 for 9 at the distance, and again, she won this race last year. She earned a 94 buyer speed figure that day. I expect she'll be forwardly placed because it seems as if that's the way she runs her best. And again, I've seen the numbers that the Brisnet figures have, and I don't think the numbers are conclusive, considering that the numbers for 8.5 or 8 and a mile and a 16th. Well, actually, I'm sorry. It was 8.3 to 8.5 furlongs are substantially different than 8.5 furlongs. And it's like I don't understand the discrepancy. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm kind of disregarding all the post position and speed analysis. I'm just assuming that this horse is a little bit classier than most of this field. So I'm taking the 2 class horses in this race, except for Big World. I know Big World is a Grade 1 winner, But the one thing I have against Big World is that she's been that it seems as if everybody who's run on Derby weekend that was on the lead just hasn't been able to repeat that performance the next time out or the next 2 times out. So I'm against Big World at the short price. I'm going to take the other 2 class horses, the 3 Modemore, hopefully on the breeding angle, and hopefully that Windstart gets her another black type win here. And Brooklyn's Way, again, I just don't think the last race was bad enough to be true, and Bernie Flint wouldn't turn this horse around that quickly if the horse wasn't gonna run a good race, or at least run a representative race back to what she used to do. So 3-9 in the Marie Hulman George Stakes at Indiana Grand. Welcome, Indiana Grand, the 3 Broke guys. We enjoy having you. I guess we'll see what the results show on Saturday night / Sunday morning. So 3-9 for me in the George on Saturday night. Ray?
All right. Well, can we say finally the Rock has come back to Indiana?
Actually, I don't know if the Rock's ever been to Indiana, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do like your analysis and more than more. He's done one of my picks. I'm gonna go 4 deep in this race. I really don't have a favorite. I mean, I kind of like Big World a little bit, but I'm looking to beat him also to get a good price. Big World's 2-1. He's a winning machine. I mean, he's 7 for 12 lifetime, 3 out of 4 this year. He's the Louisiana Bred Stakes winner. I think he's most likely gonna sit behind Improv, who's my second choice, and get a first jump turning for home. Most likely winner here, because Santana's aboard. Does take a big drop from the grade 2 Florent Delise, which wasn't not enough for Forever Unbridled. And grade 1 winner, the La Troyen, she won. Thomas Amos, they came here to win, and they don't team up often, but they are successful, by themselves. Um, you know, I have a few long shots here. I'm hoping to beat Big World, but he'll be on my ticket just as a backup. I didn't like him. Number 8, Improv, most likely to lead this field. Big World should be stalking right behind. The pace gonna make this race. If she's allowed to loft for the lead, she'll be tough to catch. And jockey James Graham, he had a nice win on her, and some placings on the lead, last year. So this horse been out since May. A little layoff there might have helped. It's been refreshed for the spot. George Arnold is a good trainer. He's always there in big races and stuff. I do like your horse, Joe. Number 3, More D'Amour. Former puncher horse. He still got his training methods. Just switched bonds to Rudolph Brissett. I don't know Brissett too much, but this is 1 for 5 on routes. Does attract Le Peru, like you said. He should get a good trip here on a 7-race losing streak. But he's been 3rd or 4th on some big grade 1 races, so he's getting a lot of back class here. Another horse with back class was number 6, Tagamont. I think the class release was going to help this horse. Brad Cox hooked up with Florence Giroux, solid 20% there. They're 20% in the route races, and he's going to be a factor too. But he's going to need some pace to close into. Out of 15 races, 3 wins, 4 seconds. So he's been in the money half of his races. So at least first or second. So he'll be coming hopefully at a good price, 10-1. I did like the 9 a little bit, but I put him on my underline. He was last year's winner, like you say, impressively. 1 for 1 the tracks, made the track. He likes the track. He drives the track. At the track. But the only thing I noticed is that last year, this horse she had 5 races, and she was keeping improving going into that race. This year, 1 race. So I don't think they may not be at that level yet this year. If there's one my ticket, I would put her in, but it's tough to ignore. She won last year, and Hernandez is up. So, but for now, I'm just gonna go 5, 8, 3, 6 on my ticket. So, Rich, what you gotta say about the Marie Hulman George Stakes? That's a nice thing.
And believe it or not, after listening to the 2 of you talk, I have actually more to say about Marie Holman George than I do about the race. I think the longer that we handicap together, the more that this will start to happen, things like that. So almost everything that you heard Joe say, as a matter of fact, everything that you heard Joe say in race number 6 about horse number 3 is exactly the way I had. Not only is that my pick, that's exactly how I came up with it. It was the double forgiveness angle. It's as Ray brought up, the fact that it's a Todd Pletcher horse. I would advise people to consider, if it wasn't by say Rodolfi, that you would and it was still Todd Pletcher, was still the trainer was still Todd Pletcher, that the horse would not be 10-1 with Julien Leparoux aboard today. So again, I didn't have anything to add in this race because my top pick is the 3. And again, Joe kind of covered it very, very nicely and very succinctly. My next 2 picks were the 8, and Ray kind of touched on the fact that that's the speed horse. And I like this little lady's chance here, out of the matron, and the 9. So, and again, Joe's angle there, again, giving a little bit of forgiveness, and the 5 for 9 angle. I just didn't have anything to add. And so I'm 3-8-9. I've got Joe with 3-9, and I have Ray with 5-8-3-6. Yeah, you got the 9 underneath, but and I will come on back, and we can move along. And this is race number 7 for us. They're going 1 mile and 70 yards on the main track. This is the Michael G. Schaefer Memorial Stakes. The purse is $100,000 for 3-year-olds and older. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 2. Eagle, trained by Neil Howard and ridden by Brian Hernandez Jr., is 5-2 on the Indiana Grand morning line. Okay, I give Michael J. Schaefer is either the last guitar player from White Lion, he's a switch-hitting second baseman for the White Sox in 1994, or a stand-up comedian in Scottsdale, Arizona. But I cannot tell you anything about Michael Schaefer. Ray, telling me who Michael J. Schaefer is has got to be harder than picking the winner of this race, right?
Michael G. Schaefer had a deli in the corner of Pine and Adams in the middle of town. We'll have to look this one up. Sorry, Mike. If you're watching, I hope you're watching.
Trust me, you know.
Well, Ray, stop. I can tell you one thing about him. It's the Michael G. Schaefer Memorial. He is no longer with us.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
So he is not watching. At least I don't think he is.
Good catch.
Go on.
Interesting race here. I'm here looking to beat Eagle. I'm not a big fan of Eagle in this race. I consider it undervalued for this, for this point. I'm just gonna go with 2 horses I think they have a chance here. Number 7, Money Flows. He's a hard knocking claimer for me. He's got 11 wins, 5 wins, 3 seconds, and 3/3. So he's hit the board every race of his life, and he runs. This is a 3 vote guys angle. Here we go, claimer, and he's competitive. I like the way he runs. He's in the race. He'll be part of the early flight. Lepu will decide whether to which way to go for the 7 path. Probably is gonna stay like 2 or 3 wide on the outside, and keep close to pace and make his run around mid pack, top of stretch and stuff. But Money Flows my horse for me. I like him a lot. I do like number 1, Fear the Cowboy. He's a great winner of the Skip Away at Gulfstream Park. He's 3-1. He's probably second choice to Eagle. Here's a good second to Iron Fist, who in his last just came back to win a Cornhusker handicap last week. I saw in Prairie Meadows at a good price, and so that gives some good props to Fear the Cowboy. He should have a good position turning for home. He's on the inside, so he can save ground. And he's got more speed than Eagle, which could be a factor in this track. As if you notice, Rich, the last page, 82% of the EP types, win at this distance. So that's a big factor. There's get some class release horses here, Eagle and Motom. But I'm going to go against them and just go against the improving ones I think who are stepping up. So I'll take a shot here. And that's what I'm going to go. 7-1 for me, this race. Joe, Michael Schaefer.
You have anything to do with the beer? Maybe that was it.
Maybe Schaefer.
Schaefer beer. I mean, I know it's been a long time since I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ever had a Schaefer beer. Maybe we
At
got
Shea
this.
Stadium, maybe for
Well, at
$1.
Shea Stadium, maybe, but maybe we got it at the we used to get Budweiser at the store on Kingsland Avenue. Anyway, I digress. We're back into the alcohol chat, as you can tell. I like Ray's two horses. I like the 7. I like him underneath. I like Fear the Cowboy as my second choice. But the one thing I did notice is it didn't look like there's a lot of pace in this race. And I'm actually going turf to dirt angle here, and I'm going with the 8, Western Reserve. The horse has been running on turf. The horse has been speedy on turf. The horse hasn't done much in stakes races, but I have, fortunately, with formulated PPs, I've had a chance to look. He's 0 for 2 on dirt with 1/3. Both of those races were at 7 furlongs. One was at Saratoga back in 2016 when he finished 3rd behind Ocean Knight, who was actually in Pletcher's barn not too long ago. And the other race he ran at 7 furlongs was back in January of 2016 at Gulf Park. But anyway, so those races really, to me, don't really factor much into it, other than the fact that I can't really say that the horse can't win at a distance on dirt because he's only tried 7 furlongs the 2 times he's gone this long. The only time that he's tried the dirt. Like Ray said, because I haven't had enough experience with Indiana Grand and the 8.5 furlong distances versus the 1 and 1/16 versus the 1 and 70-yard distances. They have different statistical analysis. So I'm not sure if there's really any validity to it. I'm not sure I can make a definitive statement about it. All I know is I think Western Reserve is going to be on or near the lead. He may be able to sit outside money flows. But I think this horse is. I have a feeling he's going to go to the lead. He's got the outside post. He might as well gun and use his natural speed. As you can see, Rich has outlined all those pace figures: +9, +10, +4. So he's always running faster than normal. And at this point, the horse is 5 years old. I can understand why they would want to try dirt going long. Again, the horse hasn't done well in stakes races in general. The horse did win the Diliberto Memorial in 2016 at the fairgrounds on the turf, beating Granny's Kitten and Green Grass of Wyoming, 2 names we've heard of before. So he's been facing some pretty good turf horses. And I think maybe this field is a little bit suspect. And again, I agree with you 100% about Eagle Ray. I think this is the time you try to beat him. I was looking at that Pimlico special, and I was like, wow, that was absolutely horrible. What's gone wrong? Why did this horse go so wrong? And what, to me, one of 2 things: either this horse just isn't the same horse as he was, or that race was just so horrible. You blow it up, you throw it out, and you go back to the form. And if you do that, he's probably the favorite. But I'm more with you. I kind of agree that Eagle's, to me, a horse to beat, because again, that race at Pimlico, it was terrible, and I just don't know what to make of it. We'll find out more tomorrow. But I'm against Eagle. I'm going with the 8, Western Reserve, turf to dirt, and the 1 is my second choice with the 7 underneath on my bottom line. So 8, 1, 7 in that order for me in the Michael Schaefer Memorial. Rich, do you have anything more to add to this?
No, not really. But I'm gonna try and clarify or pick up on something that Joe has kind of picked up here at Indiana Grand with regards to analysis. You know, you hear people talk about lies, true lies, and damn lies, and then and in this case, what Joe is pointing out here, if you look here, this is the 1 and 1/16. This is the 8.5 furlong, or the 1 mile and 1/16. Okay, 8.5 furlongs, 110 yards, 1 mile and 110 yards. Okay, and it's 57% of the time the winners go to the early and the early EP types. You lop off 40 yards off of that. So you take 40 yards off. You just go back to 1 mile and 70 yards. And for some ungodly reason, as Ray called out earlier, that number goes from 57% up to 82. So at Indiana Grand, let's just be clear here and let that. It's the last 40 yards that matter in the race.
No.
All right. So no, unfortunately, as far as my analysis goes, in the first leg, it was Joe who kind of, grabbed my win and like that. And in the second race, as you guys saw by my check mark, no, we don't talk before these calls. Actually, as a matter of fact, we usually text over the weekend, and Joe's been at a texting service this last time, so we don't talk, we don't have anything, and yet Ray kind of nailed it. I'm on money flows. What I was as I was looking at those numbers, the numbers that Joe caught, the 82% going to the E and the EP types. And I decided for this race that I was just going to go ahead and look for the speed types. And now I'm going to have to debate whether I want to add this 8 or not. The 8 is the fastest horse in the race. He will be on the lead. He's going to lead them as far as he can go. And he is a quick turf horse who's got some dirt experience. So I did not include him in my little cavalcade of pick 4 here. But listening to Joe, that might have to be adjusted by tomorrow. So my top pick is Money Flows. I was looking for a horse that's going to sit off of Western Reserve. So I'm looking for the stalk and pounce off of Western Reserve. And I think this 3 Broke Guys angle horse, if you see this on these horses here on the Brisnet form, moves up in class. That's what the 3 Broke Guys like. This horse has been hot. He's got, a pair of first and a second, which the second was by a nose, and then a third by 4.5 lengths in a little stakes race. So and in that race, it was going 1 1/8, and he led all the way around at Houston. So a little bull ring track, which I suspect we might be finding over here at Indiana Grand, is a smaller than the normal size tracks that we're used to seeing. So I had thought that Money Flows stood a decent chance. To kind of back it up, I'm going a little bit shallow as we get later on here in this race. So I went deep early in the pick 4. I am trying to get by Eagle. So I went with Fear the Cowboy as my second choice here. I don't know a whole lot about Jesus Reyes. I do not know a whole lot about Efren Loza Jr., so that's really outside my comfort zone. You really don't see me do this very often where I do not know anything about the connections. The horse does have a victory in the skip away down at Gulfstream back in March. If I'm not mistaken, that was a day that we were playing the pick 4 that was at Gulfstream, and this horse looked mighty impressive winning the skip away. If you look here, there was a very fast early pace, a very fast late pace, and look at here, he's drawing off by 3 lengths. So the one, I rated respect on that. They shipped him off to Sunland after that for a little stakes race. It's quite possible he didn't like shipping, or quite possible he didn't like Sunland. Just didn't take to that track. And then they brought him back, and you see there at Evangeline Downs, put up a very solid second. So I wanted the 1 on my ticket, and I added 1 more that Ray didn't have, and so that would have been the 3, Abraham. So I was playing all of the speed horses in this particular race, but I was on 7, 1, 3. I believe Joe gave us the 8, and Mr. Torado gave us the 1 and the 7.
Yep.
All right. Let me come on back to you guys, and we will move along. We are on to race number 8. This is going 1 1/16 on the main track. This is the Indiana Oaks. It's a grade 3. The purse is $200,000 for 3-year-old fillies. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 9. It's Mopatism, trained by Doug O'Neill and ridden by Mario Gutierrez. Comes in as your 7-5 morning line favorite. Okay, Joe, there's no Fabian in here. There's no Paradise Woods, and there is no Abel Tasman in this race. So as long as they don't load Mopatism in the gate backwards, she's going to romp over this field. What do you say?
I don't think it'll be that easy, only because I'm not sure how this track is going to play. I know the numbers say 57% versus 82%, and that last 40 yards may matter. The only problem I guess I have is that the 2 favorites in this race, both coming from Southern California, but are both likely to come from off the pace. And because I'm not sure how Indiana Grand is going to play to closers versus, I have to assume that the track's going to be fair. So that, given that instance, those 2 horses have to be the top 2 picks for me. So Mopatism and Majestic Quality are my top 2 choices. Again, both coming from Southern California, and generally horses that close in Southern California that go to other tracks have better success, because basically out here you're just spinning your wheels anyway. If you're trying to close, especially horses get on the lead and just keep on going. So those 2 horses have to be the top 2 picks for me. They have the best speed figures in the race. And it's funny, there's only 1 stakes winner in the whole race. So it kind of makes me wonder how this quote unquote grade 3 actually will be. Mopatism is the only horse who's won a stake. When she won the Island Fashion at Sunland, oddly enough, 4 starts back in February. Again, the closers have it here. They're the two best horses as far as speed figures go in the race. But because of how the track's going to play, I'm going to pull a Rich here and say, okay, I'm going to take the two from the back, but I can't just do that without including somebody who I think is going to be on the lead. And the horse I'm going to use is the inside horse, the Windstar Farm Color Bearer Overture, trained by Billy Mott, $385,000 purchase at the OBS sale in March of 2016. The horse has shown the best speed, at least the best speed figures on the Moss pace figure numbers that are available in DRF Formulator. And Bill Mott, Le Peru gets aboard. I like Le Peru on a speed horse. He's very patient. He can rate. He can definitely get something out of the horse at the end and definitely save something for the end. This is another 3 broke guys angle, jumping from a non-winners of 1 into a grade 3. This horse is obviously still eligible for non-winners of 1, but this is the first time she's going 2 turns. And you can say that about the number 5 horse, Awestruck, as well, because she's been running a mile and a 16th or a mile at Belmont. For those uninitiated, I'm sure if you're not watching this show, if you've watched the show before, you know that Belmont's a massive track, and those mile and a 16th races are run around 1 turn. This horse is actually going to get 2 turns. AP Indy, congrats, is out of AP Indy, and the horse is bred decently enough to run around 2 turns. Again, I think the horse is going to be on the lead, and I just don't know what the track's going to play like, and I don't think she'll be able to hold off Majestic Quality or Mopatism, but I've got to at least take the chance because, as we know, anybody who's been around racing at all knows the axiom that speed is always dangerous. So I would like to take more speed horses and cover my back and assume maybe there's going to be more of a pace than I think, but I'm just going to take the fastest speed horse and hope she's going to be in front by a length or 2 as they turn for home, and let the other 2 closers coming from Southern California go and get her. So Majestic Quality and Mopatism are on my top line, the 4 and the 8, and I included the 1 on my top line. I could definitely be persuaded to leave her off the ticket, but on my personal ticket, I can't just not take a speed horse and assume that the 2 closers are going to be able to run them down, not knowing how Indiana Grand plays because of my inexperience at the track. So I'm going to go 4, 8, and then with the 1 kind of as a B choice, but I think somebody I'd use on my top line in my own personal pick 4. So 4, 8, 1 in 4 and 8 in any order, and the 1 as my 3rd choice. So Ray, I will pass it on to you. What do you think of the Indiana Oaks, and what do you think of the pace scenario in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I'm on the same horses as you, a few of them. I do like the number 4. I think Majestic Quality, the slowly developing 3-year-old, could be coming into her own. She had a solid maiden win in her 10th start, but she had placed in greater stakes as a maiden. The Rachel Alexandra, and had trouble lining in the Grade 1 Oaks, Santino Oaks. So she got near a decent pace up front, and she can accelerate late. So, and as the Stormer brothers are here, Jockey Kent, trainer Keith, they're here to win. So they've done it before. So I like this horse. I'm gonna persuade you a little bit more on this one, Joe. I like this horse too. I really do. Overture, Billy Mott comes here. A few good sprint races. Stretching out now in the 9 wins of 1. But I don't think she really relaxed in those 1-turn, Belmont races at the distance. So, I think this is a good place for her. Really good spot for her. Le Peru teams up with the horse. Windstar Farm. They're here to get the black types, the gradage, like you said, they're in the breeding industry. This horse could be a big, could win a big race here. At the grade 3 level, and at a nice price too. You're talking 12-1. Could be higher too. So, I'm really on this horse too. I mean, I'm just as like this horse as much as Majestic Quality actually. I do like number 6, Stone Tacular. Also another speed horse. Has early sprinting pace. Could be have a good position down the backside. This horse could easily pop the field too. She had the highest bridge net figure of a lifetime of everybody here, 98. 2 races ago. She needs to learn to relax and make a run. This she could be a new star near how it was born, Brian Hernandez. So this horse has a little bit of upside, and it's a good price. The only thing I have to say about the horse, the two big races were in a slop, so we don't know how if she might, not be as good on the dry track, but take the chance and maybe she just run well and just relax and and run well. And I hate to go four deep and include the favorite, but I just have to do it. Mopatism 7-5, class of field with losses to Able Tasman and Unique Bella, Paradise Woods. I mean, these are some quality horses here. Drops in class here. Just this is like a security blanket for me in this horse in this race. I'm looking for the long shots. The 4 and the 1, but more prison ones at least to try if I'm still alive to get by with. Likely favorite the winner. You get the I have another team, Redham, O'Neill, Gutierrez, so I'll include this horse too. So I'm gonna go 4-1-6-8 on my ticket. All right, Rich, Indiana Oaks. This is probably
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and again, I got nothing for you guys. So you've already hit my horses. I did like Mopatism. Just joking around. If they load her backwards, it's over. But the horses got again the nice company lines, and Joe kind of alluded to the fact of she's a closer. She she's not. There's some lines that show up recently that make it look more like a closer like that. The horse has speed. It's a California. It's a Santa Anita horse that's coming out to the like that. She's got the tactile kind of speed. So I would imagine that or my expectation is that Mario Gutierrez should be able to do what he wants in this race whenever he wants it. The only horse that I would be afraid of a little bit would be the horse Majestic Quality, the Desromo brothers coming out. Mapatism has handled that horse twice before, but I believe that Joe's right. I think you would be unwise to leave, and Ray brought it up as well, to leave the 4 off your ticket here. The two defeats are by no more than a combined total of 2 lengths for the 2 defeats to Mopatism. So Majestic Quality certainly rates inclusion on your pick 4 ticket. And again, Joe, you're just kind of like stealing all my thunder. Yeah, I love one from the front and one from the back when we're talking about the horse racing here. And unfortunately, I did not go to the one. I didn't want to go as deep as 4 here, but tomorrow morning I might have to go 4. Hearing what you guys talk about with a Bill Mott horse and Julian Leparoux there on the inside, I like the 6. I was a big fan of this horse's sister, Stone-tastic, which is what Ray almost called her. Stone-tacular by Spitestown, a speed horse. And again, I don't think it's just in the mud. I think the horse looks like she's got, again, by Spitestown, you're going to see quality. And one of the things I'd bring up is if you look at the stats, I believe Brian Hernandez Jr. was very, very hot recently. So I went 8-4-6. I'm going to put the 1 down on my underneath line to remind me tomorrow morning that I think I still got some room on my ticket. So 8-4-6, 1 underneath for me. Joe's got 8-4-1 on the top. And let's see. And Ray's got 8-4-1 and the 6. All 4 of those. Very common numbers.
And I love that Grand Sire, Grand West. Joe knows.
Oh, all right.
Oh yeah. I remember the Wood Memorial.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Tough beat.
And we are up for the finale. This is race number 9. They're going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. It's the Indiana Derby. Grade 3 purse is $500,000 for 3-year-olds only. 11 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 2. I Rap, trained by Doug O'Neill and ridden by Mario Gutierrez, is 8-5 on the Indiana Grand morning line. Let's see. The Indiana Derby was run from 1995 to 2012 at Hoosier Park in Anderson, Indiana. And since 2013, it's been held at Indiana Grand in Shelbyville, Indiana. And it has the highest purse for the meet. So, Ray, since we won't be back in Shelbyville, Indiana for a while, make this pick a good one. Who do you like in the finale?
Oh, it's a good one. I Rap. No, I like that. I'm on the favorite. I'm going too deep here. I like I Rap. Book is made an 8th start, but you know what? In the bluegrass, big price. It's and Ohio Derby winner. So I think he's developing into a solid 3-year-old. He's just gaining more confidence. He's probably gaining more weight, getting stronger, and he's got a lot of backlash. As when he those races that he ran in the maiden, you see he really gets mastery. He conquers more money, and hence always dreaming in the Derby, which is but he's advocating it. That sounds good. Um, you know, you got the O'Neills here, ran them again. So they're bringing all their horses to for Indiana. So they must have a big truck or a plane, and they bought their good ones. So it's gonna be should be a good day for them. I'm picking up on top. Um, the last race I actually saw the race, and he had trouble. He was bumped. He's going nowhere. He got up to win by nose, and that showed me that he's really, focusing on racing, and he wants to win it, now, and he's putting his nose out there, and so he's running very well. He's got some good 3 years to challenge later on, but in this race he should be handling the field. I'll go with a little long shot head, Hollywood Handsome.
Oh, wow.
He's 8-1. I think he had a horrible trip in the Belmont. He didn't finish. He lost his irons. He was off the TV very early. I remember he was gone. Forget about it. And they ran him off. They thought he was hurt. But he's been working well at Churchill Downs, and you know we will forgive that race. And he showed a late run in Louisiana Derby at a big price. We saw that race, and Giroux has won with him, and now has of one, so he could pick up the pieces and make a good run at 8-1. So I'm gonna include him as a backup to IRAP, and that's all I'm gonna go here. 2-5 for me. There's no. I like to wash out a little bit, but little budget conscious here, so I'll just stick with 2-5 for now. So Joe, Indiana Derby. This is like the second half of the. This could be a prep race for the Travers or maybe the other race, 3 race Haskell, stuff like that. So could be. You can say IRAP in there. I can say IRAP in there in the Haskell.
Well, being that the price is 500K, I don't see. You could look at it that way, and I understand some people might. Yeah. But this purse, they're not here. Purse, yeah. If basically you're here to win that purse, 60% of that's 300K. You're not going to find too many grade 3s that run for 500K. So, like you said, it's a possibility that could happen for somebody like IRAP. That he could end up in a stakes race for 3-year-olds, maybe later down the line, like you said, the Haskell, the Jim Dandy, the Travers. Those are all possible landing spots. Maybe even something at Del Mar. Maybe he might try to run second to Arrogate in the San Diego about 4 or 5 weeks after this race. But again, we're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, IRAP's on my top line, but I just want to make one interesting point. IRAP has 2 lifetime wins. Mario Gutierrez is aboard for 0 of them. Believe it or not, Julian Leperoux has had them out on the 2 races that IRAP has won. I just want to throw that out there. Again, he's the classiest horse, but it's just ironic that Leperoux has been up for the 2 wins. But because I went skinny earlier, I can go deeper here. Given that if for whatever reason IRAP does not run his race. We've seen so many instances where horses ship and for whatever reason don't run as well as they should. I actually have a couple of horses that Ray didn't mention that I kind of like. There's one 3 Broke Guys angle horse that I kind of like. Awesome Saturday, the number 8. Horse is likes to be on the lead. 3 Broke Guys angle, 1 a non-winner's a 1. Optional claimer, beating Watch Me Whip, who's also in this field in the outside box. Brett Calhoun, and Rich mentioned Brian Hernandez, who's having a very good year. So obviously he's the jock for this. He's been on this horse ever since he's been born. So he stays aboard. Not bad at 8-1. I also like the number 9, Untrapped, a little bit. Again, for a lot of the same reasons we talked about Mo Demore, not the breeding purpose, obviously. But looking the horse ran well in the Risen Star, ran well in the Rebel, ran not terribly in the Arkansas Derby, considering he was only 3/4 of a length back. after 3/4 of a mile. So again, he didn't run horribly. Maybe a mile and 1/8 was too far for him. Maybe the grade 1 was too much for him that day. But then he ran in the Derby, probably ill-advised running the Derby, and then came back to run in the Ohio Derby behind IRAP, but maybe that wasn't necessarily the spot they were aiming for. Maybe today's the spot, given the size of the purse. I don't know if anybody maybe could look up what the amount of the purse was for the Ohio Derby. I don't know if it was 500K or not, but I'm wondering if maybe if it was that's that. I mean, and it's highly understandable if it was, but I'm thinking maybe Untrapped is more a mile and a 16th horse than a mile and an 1/8 horse, and maybe this is more in his wheelhouse. And again, he's run representative races earlier in his career, so he could be a spoiler if for whatever reason IRAP doesn't run as well. And the other horse I kind of like is the horse right outside of Untrapped, and that's the 10. Colonel's Dark Temper. If you look at that last race, that he got beat by McCracken the day McCracken went off at 2-5 in the Matt Win at his home track, basically Churchill Downs, where he's 4 of 5. Speed figures have been getting better every race except for the Pat Day Mile, at least the Beyer speed figures. And again, I'm willing to toss the Pat Day Mile given the condition of the track, that it was the Derby weekend, and the fact that this was the only time this horse has been able to run on a wet track. But the horse seems to have been getting better. Like I said, a decent second behind McCracken in the Matt Win. Again, I'm looking for horses that could possibly even improve and maybe take the next step if for whatever reason IRAP isn't the one. Again, he's on my top line, but because I went skinny earlier, if I'm still alive, I want to have as much coverage in this spot as I can, because again, and I don't know why it is, I'm just not the biggest IRAP fan. Maybe it's because I've seen him again. He's been running against better horses, but it seems as if he's been underneath a lot more to me. And again, and maybe I just can't get past the point where Mario Gutierrez hasn't won with this horse, yet Julien Leparoux is 2 for 2. Maybe that has something to do with it. I just wanted more coverage in this spot, figuring that for a 500K purse, the horses that are in here, they want to win. They're not looking for necessarily black, graded placing in black type. They want to win that. I mean, you're not going to get much easier spots for 3-year-olds down the road, because basically once Saratoga and Del Mar are gone, 3-year-olds have to run against older horses. So if you want to make hay and make money, now's the time. So I just want a little bit more coverage at the end. So I would go 4 deep in this spot. Again, it would be 2, 8, 9, and 10 for me. I guess IRAP would be my top choice, but again, it's not an overwhelming endorsement. And to be honest, I'm going to be straightforward. This is not my strongest opinion. I don't really have a great vibe on this race, which is why I'm going deeper than I normally would in a stakes race like this. So 2, 8, 9, and 10 for me in the Indiana Derby. Rich?
Yeah, I kind of vacillated. I went back and forth between leg 1 and leg 2, or this leg, as to where it was that I was going to go deep or go short, and like that. In the end, I wasn't sold on the favorites in the early leg, so I decided to go a little bit deeper, trying to get past there. And I'm single to the favorite here. So I've just got Redham Racing and Doug O'Neill. You see my little comment there, kind of alluding to how Ray was describing him. That's the 3-year-old horse who was going to blossom in the second half of the year, the one that didn't really do much on the Derby Trail, or maybe even missed the Derby Trail as Arrogate did last year, but then suddenly explodes during the summer. And so far, his speed figures is what's kind of popping your eyes as far as IRAP getting into the triple digits. So if he can put up another one, although once again at a track that's not quite what we're all looking for, it certainly would give him a lead to that going into this summer race. I think by far he's the best horse in there. I cannot figure out why Julien Leparoux is. That was a good catch by Joe. I don't have that on here, but I cannot figure out why it is that he's riding well. But Mario Gutierrez is a very good rider, so I'm not going to hold that against him. And I am, again, taking my shots earlier in this pick 4 with the hope that IRAP can be my Kenley Jansen and come in and close the ball down for me. So I just went with the 2. Joe went, I think you went 8, 9, 10 here?
2, 8, 9, 10. I went all, I went, like I said, not a strong opinion, so they were all on my top line.
And Ray has got the 2 and the 5.
2, 5.
All right.
Hey, Rich, don't let's let's reserve judgment on my West Coast is running tomorrow in the Los Al Derby for Bob Baffert. Let me see if he can maybe be the one that arrogates towards the end of this year. But we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow at Los Al.
Yeah.
Certainly would be a more likely candidate.
So
Well,
Ohio Derby's 500K.
Bob Baffert. Ohio Derby is 500K. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the purse was, but
I was sitting in the Lake Elsinore casino betting that day, so I knew.
Those are pretty. Excuse me, pretty substantial numbers. 500K is a lot.
Yeah, it is for grade 3.
For grade 3?
At Thistletown Downs, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole. Yeah,
it's
that's
they're doing
it. Indiana Grand's a casino also. So
yeah, they're doing it.
Yeah.
But if you tracks don't have a casino, get one.
Yeah, we tried that out here. It didn't work.
No.
Next.
All right, we are going to move on to our next segment here, and this is our Player Pick 4 segment. Joe and Ray each week are nice enough to share with us their individual Pick 4s. So while I kind of sneak away behind the scenes here, I will go ahead and put together the group Pick 4. I am going to turn it over to, you know what, Joe, you weren't here last week, so go ahead. You can kick it off this week for us and tell us about your Pick 4 for this week. I'll get that.
Okay, sure. No problem, Rich. I went skinny early. As I mentioned in the analysis of the Indiana Derby, I went Mo Demore, again, Windstar Farm for a new trainer, even though been in Pletcher's care, the ownership group hasn't changed. Windstar Farm obviously has more interest in necessarily winning this race for breeding purposes for Mo Demore as a broodmare later on down the line. So I went with her, and I also went with Brooklyn's Way. Again, trying to forgive that last race based on the fact that it was nearly a year layoff and that she won this race at Indiana Grand last year. She's 7-2 on the morning line. It was more I'm also trying to beat Big World, figuring that the horses that have run on or near the lead on Derby Day or anytime during Derby weekend that ran huge races that day haven't been able to replicate it in later starts. So I'm gonna try and it's trying to beat Big World, but I do like the 3 a little bit, and again I can't not include the 9. In leg 2, the Michael Schaefer, I went with the 8 Western Reserve, again more on the pop the speed angle. We don't know that this horse can't run long on dirt. His experience is only 7 furlongs, the 2 races in 2016. I think this is a good spot to try it. And Fear the Cowboy is the horse from off the pace. Like Ray said, he's going to sit a nice trip in behind. He just needs to be able to find a crease, whether it's down on the inside or angling out, to make his run at Western Reserve. So it's 1 and 8 in the Michael Schaefer. In the Indiana Oaks, like I said, it was. I could have gone deeper in this spot. It was hard to separate Majestic Quality and Mopatism because I just don't know how the track plays. I've got to do like I said, it's the Rich Sharp angle for me. It's at least one from the front and one from the back. So I had to include Overture for Bill Mott and Windstar again. Again, trying to get some black type for this filly who is still eligible for non-win as a 1. But at 12-1, I'll take Bill Mott and Le Peru. That's a pretty good combination to get that number on. And in the Indiana Derby, again, not really the strongest opinion or feel for me. So I went 4 deep because I went skinny early. It was IRAP, Awesome Saturday, Untrapped, and Colonel's Dark Temper. Like I said, IRAP is a tentative top choice in the race for me. I know my colleagues feel differently. But again, and maybe it's just something about the fact that Le Peru's been up for his 2 wins. Hopefully for you guys, Mario Gutierrez will dispel that tomorrow. But it's 2, 8, 9, and 10. Again, not the strongest opinion, not the strongest feel. And to me, this is a more wide. It's definitely a wide open race if IRAP doesn't run to his figures. If he runs to his last race, he probably wins. But let's just make sure that we don't sleep on Untrapped because he was only beaten 4 lengths in his first start since the Derby in that spot. And I want to give Steve Asmussen more credit than that. and make sure that we don't think that Untrapped is not capable of winning in this spot, because it is a race that it's a race at a distance where he's run his best figures, and he's been able to do that in grade twos earlier in the season as a 3-year-old. So 2, 8, 9, and 10 for me in the Indiana Derby, a $24 investment in the Indiana Grand Pick 4 Saturday night, July 15th, 2017. And maybe we'll be back at the spot on July 14th, 2018 to do this same Pick 4 again, but we'll see. Ray, you obviously went a lot different in the build of your ticket, so let the folks know what you were thinking.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, race number 6, the first leg. I'm a little fan of Big World, but I'm going 4 deep to try and beat him because as you know, these are big price horses, 10-1. No, so I got Big World and I got also Improv, who's got much better to be on the lead. I did include your horse, More, number 3, and this horse has been running against some good horses, and this has a lot of back class, and formerly from Pletcher, so could run well. And also Tiger Maw too, another horse who could wake up here. So I'm just taking a shot here, and including Big World too on my ticket. So, but I'm taking a shot with a few horses, a couple long shots. I was a small fan of Brooklyn's Way, your horse number 9, but I just think on the circumstances of his racing from last year to this year, I'll just leave him off my ticket. In race 7, I have a good opinion of these 2 horses, a very strong opinion of these. I'm only going 2 deep. I really feel, the money flows. Feel the Cowboys 7-1. I'm really on board with them, and I wouldn't. I'm looking to beat Eagle. Have really a slim opinion of Eagle in this race. Good horse, but what he's been running lately, you know, I just consider him undervalued. So I'll stick with my 7-1. Um, in the Michael Schaefer. In the Indiana Oaks, I went a little deeper here. Same method as the first leg. I like Mopatism 7-5, but I'm trying to get some value here, majestic quality, and he's a developing horse there for the Somos. Uh, and like I told you, I really have a good opinion of Overture 12-1. I'm not reaching. I just think this horse is, could surprise people. The way Mott trains, because I know him from Belmont, and you know, they tried Belmont and 1-turn races, and this is his first 2-turn race, so they might just, have a good one at a good price. Spectacular also is on my ticket to be close to the lead. So those horses close to the lead, can always take off, and they won't catch him. So um, and he's a good horse too. He's a 5 for 5 in the money. And I got both of them there too. Also, Classic Field, as one of as he's gonna be most likely the favorite, but I'm taking a shot with a few other horses. And then in the Indiana Derby, I'm on board with IRAP. Um, I think his horse, it's like you said, I just had a funny scenario. And late jockey change, Julian Peru. He's not in this race, so I like that one. He'll be 1-9 after that. Um, and I lost my screen here. There you go. And I also like Hollywood Handsome, just forgiving his Belmont race. He had been working well, Churchill, and he's got slow. He ran some good races early in spring, so Giroux's back on him. He did win with him, so I'll include him. Uh, you know, I did like your analysis of the who was it, the 8, the 9. Yeah, Untrapped, the 9. I like your analysis, so I might actually include him if I decide. But for right now, I'll go to 205 for $32 ticket. And good luck, guys, and let's hit it. Actually, we could hit this if we go like a 3-1, 4-1, and then 2. So, Joe, we can hit this together. Let's do it. Rich, who's your pick 4?
All right. Well, I put it over there on the side. Anybody who wants to see mine, it's always out there and it's available, but nobody wants to hear from me. So I'm coming back here, and I will bring up the group pick 4 ticket. And as a matter of fact, let me get to the group pick. Where it go? I get so into watching you guys go into that pick 4 that my screen forgets what I was doing. Apparently. All right, here we go, and see if I generate any controversy this week. So I've got us here so far. This is our Indiana Grand ticket. So in the first race, we start off with you know what? There was actually a lot of consensus on the 3. So Joe and I, that was our top. That was actually our top pick. Ray, you also had the 3 on your top line, so that's why the 3 kind of sticks out there a little bit. We also had Ray. I believe the 5 is Ray's top pick in the first leg. So Ray's top pick is the 5. Joe and I had the top pick of the 3. And the 8 actually matched up with Ray. You've got the 8 on your top line. I've got the 8 on my bottom line. And Joe, you've got the 9 on your top line. I've got the 9 on my bottom line. So I mocked up my bottom line with your 2 guys' top line. And I gave us the 3, the 5, the 8, and the 9 in the first leg. In the second leg, I've got us with the 1, the 7, and the 8. And if I'm not mistaken, Ray, I believe you and I both had the 7 as our top pick. We both had the 1 on our top line, and Joe had the 8 as his top pick. In our third leg, which is the Indiana Oaks, I've got the 1, the 4, and the 8 for the 3 of us. And let's see here. I've got, as a matter of fact, that was almost like a clean sweep across the board. Joe, those are your top 3 picks, the 1, the 4, and the 8. Ray, those are your top 3 of your top 4 picks, the 1, the 4, and the 8. And Richard, those are your top 3 picks, the 1, the 4, and the 8. So there you go. Easy enough. And in leg 4, I actually just have IRAP. That's the only one I was able to match up from our democratic process. So let me know, Joe. I could not tell if in that last leg is IRAP your top pick, or did you have a different top pick? Was it untrapped?
Well, no. IRAP is my, like I said, he's my tentative top pick. I just don't want people to sleep on Untrapped having a possibility of a rebound or a better performance this time against IRAP than he ran last time. So, no, IRAP's really my top pick, but just trying to make sure that everybody realizes how deep I think contention is deeper than just IRAP.
No, and I will tell you, if I was a bigger money roll player and things like that, that last race actually, even with IRAP in it, it looked like it had some possibilities and some juicy possibilities to me. Yeah. I just chose to try and get around Big World. I chose to get around Eagle, being a closer that he was, and Big World. I'm trying to think why I wanted to play against Big World, but I went deep in my first 3 legs, so I needed to save. So I had IRAP as my top pick. I know Ray had IRAP as his top pick, and Joe, sounds like you had IRAP as your top pick. So that's as close as we come to a single, and that gives us an $18 pick 4.
Yep.
And for those of you who saw out on our Google Sheets page, you've got some other options as well.
Yeah, if we could have come to consensus on a second horse in that last leg, it would double the ticket. It's just right. As it is right now, I mean, I'm okay with the $18 investment as it is, because the way our luck's been running, Eagle's going to win by about 12 tomorrow. So at this point, I mean, I think if I'd rather take the $18 and bet it on Eagle to win, I would add another horse to this pick 4.
You're right.
Because I'm thinking we're just putting Eagle right in the winner's circle. For whatever reason, I just think that's the way we've been snake bit of late.
Eagle by a nose.
So, Eagle by a pole. He's going to win by a pole if he wins. He wins by a pole. He's not going to win by a nose.
You'll have to sprout wings to catch him.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be Paradise Woods all over again.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me come on back to you guys for our finale.
You're right about that. If we get past Eagle, then we'll take our chance with IRAP.
For those of you out there who hung around with us, we appreciate it. A little bit late tonight, but all right. We are. We've got our pick 4 there, Joe. I didn't know. Did you get that up there? It was 3, 5, 8, 9.
I did get it, Rich.
with
Yep.
178, with 148, with 2. That's an $18 pick for Indiana Grand for those of you who are out there. And
Mhm. 18 bucks.
$18. And for those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because, well, that's what the Three Broke Guys do. We're going to get together to take a look at. We're going to take a look at 2 exciting cards next week because instead of it going to be either Saratoga or Del Mar, we're going to do Saratoga and Del Mar. So you heard it right. We've got 2 podcasts that are going to be scheduled for next week. We'll do Saratoga first. We'll come right back. We'll go ahead and get Del Mar queued up for you. For those of you who like to watch on Saturday morning, because that's when I watch Three Broke Guys Handicapping, you can watch either one at your leisure or you can watch them both. We appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you.
Always a pleasure. Yep.
Likewise.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.